Already selling your own product? Or promoting other people's products as an affiliate? Regardless, you're about to discover the single most powerful skill that not only ramps up the figures of your monthly income by a couple of extra digits. When you have this skill for life, you can never go broke. I'm serious. There's a good reason why copywriters are paid tens of thousands of dollars to write copy for their clients. Because their words sell. If you can make your words sell, you can sell anything, and I mean anything. Problem is, an academic course on copywriting in the offline world is not that applicable when you try to do it online. And direct response courses cost a bomb, which is expected because if you can start making hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars as a result of web copywriting, the cost of the course will be justified. Fortunately, you wouldn't need to spend so much money and time learning the same skills through this course. Now the potentially $1 million skill is yours to master, and you are about to go pro in the next half an hour. Sounds good? In many ways, you can count yourself blessed because while you may not have $10,000 or even $1,000, you can still tap into the brains of a professional copywriter, and with the same knowledge and copywriting wisdom in this course, you can write an infinite amount of sales letters that sell. So, let's get started. I wouldn't assume you know anything, so I'm starting with the basics. What is a sales copy? If this is your first exposure to the idea of using sales copies to sell your products online, you will probably have little idea what a sales copy is. First of all, here's what a sales copy is not. It is not a brochure. Brochures are pieces of information that merely informs or tells but does not make any effort to sell. It is also not a newspaper ad. Good attention-pulling newspaper ads have the same elements you are about to learn in web copywriting, but no, it's not an online newspaper ad. It is also not a corporate website. You know, the ones with a flashy-looking product pasted in the middle of the site. It features described in bullet points, mailing links at the top of the page, smiling people who look like the ones you'd expect to talk to if you need customer service. That is not the kind of site you're going to build either. So what is a sales copy exactly? A sales copy, or a sales letter or sales page, is simply a one-page website. That's it. It's that easy. It's written in a direct response approach, like a personal letter. In fact, it is a personal letter from you to your prospect. You're approaching from the point of view of I, not we, and you address your prospect as one person, not multiple, third party, or you all. It's a me to you letter. It is called direct response because online sales copies take after the traditional direct response mailings in the offline world, where marketers would drop letters into their subscribers' mailboxes, often many pages, describing how their product can help solve their prospects' problems. That said, the goal of your sales page is the same: to persuade your prospect to buy your product and become your customer. There is only one web page. Besides the essential links like contact, support, and legal disclaimers, and of course your order links, your web page barely contains any other outgoing links. The page scrolls all the way down continuously without being broken. There are no links to the next page, previous page, or even about me whatsoever. Keep this rule strict if you want to enjoy high conversions from your sales pieces, so make this a hard and fast rule to obey. Now, we have come to the age-old question in writing a sales letter. Is writing a long sales letter better than writing a short one, or vice versa? Some say that if you write a long sales letter, people's attention span will grow shorter and thus lose interest, let alone a sale. On the other hand, if a sales letter is too short, it might as well be a brochure, except it doesn't do its job as an online salesperson. So the answer? Guess what? There is no right or wrong answer to this. Your sales letter should be as long as it should be. Now, if you print out a typical direct response copy, it can span into several pages from 10 to 20 pages. Some are as long as 40 pages even. But if you need to write more than that, don't be afraid to. All in all, you must use as many words as you need in your selling. Do a brain dump and write it all out in your copy. After that, you can scan your copy for words to remove if they don't have any impact. If the words are not relevant, doesn't help sell, or can result in losing sales because it's a poor choice of words, you should discard them. Likewise, replace them with words that land more impact. As a rule of thumb, the higher the product price, the more convincing your sales copy must be. Again, don't be afraid to write as long as a copy needs to be. There is no right or wrong. I've seen marketers wrote super long copies and spent into nearly 100 pages if printed out, but are among those that sell like hotcakes. Then, there are also those that sell under 10 pages, but if you print them out, they sell just as well. Copywriting is an art. Now, I'm going to talk about the elements of a successful web copy. You see, those sales letters that sell well, some that make you feel like you want to buy. If you would study the works of top-notch copywriters or successful ads, you will learn that they have these elements that can be summed up into 8 major components: headline, subheadline, introduction, regurgitation, solution, handle objections, call to action, and PS. Know of Joe Vitale, also known as Mr. Fire? Joe Vitale is one of the highly respected copywriters in the copywriting industry. He talked about a 4P approach, which are problem, promise, proof, and price. All successful web copies have these 4 elements as well. The 8 major components I just talked about covers these essential P's too. We will cover them one by one now. You must have something at the beginning of your web page that you do not see on majority of the web pages out there: a headline. This is a hard and fast rule. Your sales letter must have a headline. That is the first thing your prospect is going to look at when he visits your website. Not having a headline is like looking at a headless person. Your headline serves as a qualifier to your prospects. Call it the smell test. Your headline must grab the attention of your visitors, or else they will not read the rest of your sales letter. This is very crucial because the headline will make or break your sales letter. Your headline should be the biggest font in your sales letter, preferably 1 or 2 sizes bigger than your average subheadline. Successful headlines usually imply a character within it. It can be you, the owner of the product, portrayed from a third-person point of view. Example: how a 22-year-old college dropout banks in $1 million every year, working no more than 4 hours a week at a computer. The headline must also show results. Results that your prospect is looking for. The more specific, the better it is. So the same headline can be rewritten into how a 22-year-old college dropout banks in $1,138,129.88 every year using only a mouse and a broken computer. Your choice of colors in your headline determine the make or break of sale too. Use primarily dark red color for your headline and highlight some words in yellow. Red signifies urgency, and highlighting the benefit words like easy, fast, quick, and more will trigger your prospect to read on with speculation. He wants to see if you are the real deal now and decides to give you a few minutes of his time. Headlines can be classified into the 5 following basic types. News headlines. The form tells your prospect something he did not know before. Now, a copy machine that copies and colors is an example of this type of headline. Promise headline. Here you are promising something that if a prospect follows your advice. For example, switch to XYZ apps flags and you will no longer see those spare tires in 6 weeks guaranteed. Selective headline. Headlines such as, to all who are suffering financially, or bald man, lend me your ears, limits to a specific group of prospects. Caution, however, that this type of headline can eliminate potential customers, so use carefully or draw in targeted prospects to read your sales letter. Curiosity headline. The purpose of this headline is to arouse the prospect's interest enough to make him read your letter. An example of headline would be this: do you have trouble going to sleep at night? The drawback, however, is that this headline often appears cute and clever, sometimes even deceptive. Demand headline. Watch out for this one, as most people resist pushiness. Do it now, or get your copy today. Headlines generally can be improved by changing to less obstructive words like call for your key to success. Effective headlines often combine 2 or more of these kinds. A subtle warning though: remember that when your message is printed in all uppercase and capital letters, it is difficult for your prospect to follow and remain interested in your offer. This is the next most important component after the headline: your subheadline. Your subheadline serves as a hook that will encourage your prospect to read further. Basically, your subheadline summarizes your sales letter and must elaborate on the benefits of reading your letter, thus creating the urgency for your prospect to read today and not later. You can also provide the if, problem, then solution scenario in your sales letter. Usually your subheadline is smaller than your headline in size and bigger than the regular fonts on your web page. Then comes the introduction. This is the opening of your letter after the headline successfully grabs your prospect's attention and he reads further. This is another smell test that is going to decide whether or not your prospect will continue reading on up to the call to action, or he will just leave your site and not come back again. This is important, as your prospect wants to know where the letter he is reading comes from. Like any other personal me to you letter, start with Dear Something. Something is, of course, addressing your prospect. You should define your target market very specifically at this point to address him in one way. For example, if the only type of people who will be interested in your ringworm remedy are those who are suffering from such infection, you can address Dear Ringworm Patient. If you are targeting another internet marketer as only they will be interested in your offer, you can address Dear Internet Marketer. Seek greater clarity in who you are targeting exactly. If your sales letter caters to a slightly broad crowd, you can safely stick to Dear Friend. Now, introduction paragraph. Start with addressing the problems your prospect is facing that you're going to solve. The biggest challenge in writing an effective sales letter is keeping your prospect involved, engaged, and interested in your reading your sales letter from top to toe. If you forget for a moment to emphasize the what's in it for you nature of your offer, your prospect will tune out, turn off, and click away from your sales letter. So, write your introduction to notify that there is a problem your prospect is facing. No, do not create a problem. Just address it so you can qualify the prospect. You can also talk about his aspirations like an A to B transition. Then introduce yourself. Talk a little bit about yourself and why telling him who you are matters, because you can help him with his problem. If your prospect is an eczema patient and you are a trained dermatologist by profession, let him know that you are a skin doctor. Now, this is an exciting step. It's also amazing that a lot of sales letters out there either don't have this covered or it's covered very weakly. This is called the regurgitation process. The process of exaggerating a problem. This is a very powerful method to increase your sales by funneling a prospect into buying your product. First, you identify all other solutions your prospect could possibly take or think of taking. Then, you shoot them down as inferior solutions. It's that easy. Here, let me give you an example. Let's take eczema for example. You can describe other inferior medication that won't help your prospect with his skin condition. Chances are, he has seen quite some skin doctors and none of them were able to help. On top of that, his medical bills are probably piling up to no avail. These inferior solutions are a stark contrast to your product that reveals a natural remedy to curing eczema, and it will cost way less. He would think, would I rather spend $500 on costly medication that don't help, or a $29.97 ebook that shows me how to do away with all those crude medication and cure my skin rashes? It's a lot easier, it's a lot faster, it's also safer. Now what? This part is going to be exciting and where the selling really is. Follow through with a solution. Start with announcing XYZ or introducing XYZ. XYZ being your offer's name. After you introduce a solution, this is another crucial part. It's the part where you list down a full list of your product benefits. What can you do for your prospect if he buys now? What's in it for him? I want to talk about benefits versus features here. More often than not, features are often being mistaken as benefits. You see, if I were in the shoes of a potential customer, I am more interested in how a product can benefit me than know what it looks like. Recall the last time you bought a product online or offline? Why do you buy it? Do you buy it because of its features? Or do you buy it because it can benefit you or solve the problem? Here's a contrast between feature and benefit. The ebook in PDF format is a feature. The fact that you can download it instantly after purchase without having to wait for weeks for shipping is the benefit. All in all, write both features and benefits of your product, but make a special emphasis on your benefits. That is the reason why people will want to buy from you. Sell the solution, not the product. Write an exhaustive list of benefits and organize them into neat bullet points. If your offer comprises several components, you can make your copy look attractive by tabling your components into multiple Johnson boxes. Johnson boxes are those boxes with dotted lines on the borders. As you are writing the benefits, you can make benefit words stand out by making them bold, highlight them, or give them a different color. Benefit words are words that press the hot buttons in your prospects. They are words you want them to especially read and hear. Words like fast, easy, no-brainer, big, twice as quickly are powerful benefit words. Results are also benefit words like $14,747.49 in 72 hours. Lose 8 kilograms in 30 days record. Now, I'm going to teach you how to handle objections even though you're not there. You see, your prospect is going to read from your sales letter and he will definitely have questions and concerns arising. Problem is, you're not going to be there in person to evaluate or address his concerns. If he doesn't like what he sees or is convinced himself not to buy into your offer, you won't be around to get a second chance. Or do you really need to be around? Handling objections is another critical skill in persuasive copywriting. Since you're not going to be there in person and it's just between your prospect and your sales letter, you must answer the immediate objections within the space of your sales copy and right away. Handling objections should come after featuring your product, together with its full list of benefits and how it can help your prospect solve a problem or reach a certain goal. Look, people are naturally skeptical. They will also ask themselves questions like, what's in it for you too? What's the catch? Is this really for me? Does it work for people like me? What if my circumstances are special? Does it still apply? This is where having experience as an end user or someone who has been in your prospect's shoes pay off. You must deduce your prospect's doubts and questions he will possibly ask. If there's a list of questions you expect to answer frequently, you can table an FAQ board within your sales letter to answer all common questions professionally. For people who are new to buying online, there's always a trust issue. Are you going to deliver what you promise? Why should they take the first step to trust you? This is where putting a list of credible testimonials furnishes a good image on your site. It makes your site less lonely, and it shows to your prospect that there have been other customers who have bought before him too, and they're raving about your product. And there's no better way to overcome the buyer's barrier with a money-back guarantee that's rock solid. Typical money-back guarantee policies are between 30 to 60 days, but if you dare to be different, and you're really confident in the business you're in, go for a 365-day money-back guarantee policy. Your prospect will feel stupid to chicken out. One other thing I want to talk about is proof. Whether you're in the make money online niche, weight loss niche, or whatever niche you're in, nowadays, proof is easy to fabricate. It's easy to fake it. Anybody with an Adobe Photoshop program can just alter their screenshots and make people fall for their promise. I believe you're an honest marketer in your own rights, and I trust you will not resort to such a deed. However, your unscrupulous competitors are resorting to such dirty tricks. It will give you a bad name to innocent and honest marketers like yourself. This is where you can distinguish yourself. If you're the real deal, you can record your video on your results as proof that your stuff works. Better still, get recorded testimonials on audio or video from your customers. Showing detailed case studies also helps separate you from the rest of the fly-by-night and wannabes. We have arrived at a big decision maker, the call to action. This is where you can finally name the price, but don't do it so fast. This is an important skill in selling. You should still tease your prospect a bit before unveiling the official price. This is all what a lot of expert salespeople and those on stage do. It's what I call the price card strategy. The premise of this strategy is to show how valuable your offer is and have the prospect believe it is to be sold at a certain price, but higher than the price you will sell in the end. Finally, you reveal the price to be a lot lower than what the prospect had anticipated, making him to see this as a no-brainer offer. At last, you can press the prospect to take action now and confidently, and don't forget to throw in some scarcity factors to discourage him from procrastinating. It can be a series of fast action bonuses that are available for a limited time only. It can be a time-sensitive offer, or the price is launch price and will soon go up to retail. Another method of influencing a prospect to act now is to show a future with and without your product. What will cost your prospect if he doesn't buy now? What will he gain if he acts now? Make him think not of what he's about to spend, but about to gain. It is true that bonuses play a big factor in influencing your prospect's decision to buy. Regardless of popular opinion and people saying that they didn't buy because of the bonuses, giving bonuses together with your main offer can increase your conversion rates meaningful, and is what pushes your conversion rates to the max. The only call to action here is to get a prospect to buy your offer now. It has been proven that putting an orange button with the add to cart tags on it increases your conversion rates by more than 20% as compared to regular tags or other choice of words. Now you're done for most of the copy. One more step to go. The PS or postscript. Postscripts or PS summarize your entire sales letter and persuade your prospect to act now again. It's like the PS you always see in a personal letter. And yes, writing a sales copy is a personal letter to your prospect. Don't waste this valuable space in your sales copy, for it will help increase your sales conversions too. In regular letters, A PS is often used as a special reminder or talk of something unmentioned earlier in the letter. This is exactly how your PS will function for this sales copy too. In your PS, you can mention benefits you have not talked about earlier in your sales letter. These are also what I call secondary benefits. It may appeal to a secondary market of audience. You can also remind your prospect about the importance of acting now and that he has nothing to lose. Remind him on your money-back guarantee policy. Talk about the bonuses that are not going to be around forever, and also talk about what happens if he doesn't act now. It's also a good place to display even more testimonials, though you should save your least best testimonials for this one. The best testimonials should be displayed and peppered throughout the main body of your sales letter, and save the remaining ones here. You can write as many PSs as you want, but I encourage you to limit to 3 maximum. Congratulations! You have just learned the secrets of top-notch copywriting in easily less than an hour. As we are nearing an end of this crash course on online copywriting persuasion, I want to reinforce your learning by showing you some real-life sales letters that are being used online today. I have also included a link to their sales pages, and you also find out that everything you have just learned in the last several minutes, these sales copies are applying exactly the same principles, techniques, and strategies in persuasive copywriting. ListQuad.com. Aspiring online business owners are always looking for new customers. If you're looking for new customers and want to grow your list of prospects, which one would you prefer to do? Do it on your own through trial and error for the next several months or years? Or learn from an expert who has built himself a 5-figure prospects and customers list and gain mastery of his skills in less than 2 hours? Double your dating. Attraction isn't a choice. This is a popular dating site for men. Men are always driven by desire to be with attractive women. It's not just for the sake of being with women. It also elevates their social status and how friends and people around view them. It beefs up their confidence. If you have been hopeless with women for as long as you can remember, you can now turn that around starting today. Why procrastinate? Eczema free forever. This product targets impulsive, desperate buyers with bad skin condition. Trust me, eczema patients who go to this site cannot afford to procrastinate because their skin conditions don't allow them to. Notice that from all of the examples of these sales letters, the copywriting formulas I have taught you are present in all of them. Their style of writing may differ. Their target markets are different altogether, but principles will always be the same. I hope you've learned a lot from this course alone. This one makes the world go round for many direct response and online marketers and copywriters rich. The same power is now in your hands.